we're starting to see the rise of Clockwork. I know you'd be a big fan of this Danog, especially with the matchup that it's into against two supports that do really rely on spellcasting, kind of sitting on the back line, while Clockwork can eat them up very easily.
10 seconds
And supports
remaining.
that don't want to buy force stuff, that's the other important thing, right? Like Snapfire needs
5 seconds
Aghanim
remaining.
Shah, he needs the Blick Dagger, for example, but Grimstroke, he wants Aetherlands, he wants Aghanim Scepter. He doesn't want to be buying a force staff, so you're kind of going to be forced into it, which is a little bit of a weird
Dire
situation
team
to be in for both of these guys.
Oh,
All right.
let's go. Let's go. Um, so they did play at TNC in their first game against Execration. It
They
was
Necro here? I feel like it's not a bad Necro game.
it's a very good Necro game. You got a lot of damage as well to pump in with kisses and tiny combo. You don't care about Clockwork. Very good versus Pudge.
Even just in the lane, right? You want to be using the Flesh Heap to its maximum potential, but Necro is just always dealing damage to you, so it's quite difficult to find a time where you're actually wanting to, get aggressive or have it as a defensive tool. So yeah, I think it'd be a fantastic Necro game.
It's a very good Necro game. Like a really, really good Necro game. I do want to continue to mention, though, that it was Yoei that played the Pudge in game one versus Execration. They 24th picked it as well. So giving Lilgun a little bit of 2 picks here to be able to respond into the Pudge. They're going to go down the Beastmaster route, though, which...
Dire team ban.
Do you like? Do you like this response from Lilgun?
I mean, they don't have any ways to get rid of the boars, right, outside of Hook. At the moment, like Visage isn't going to do a great job. You've got such low armor that you're just going to get punished heavily if you move forward. Attack range isn't that great. Clockwork, if
10
it's played as a
seconds
5,
remaining.
it's okay. But again, Snapfire, Beastmaster, assuming that's the
5
4 and
seconds
5, but
remaining.
Grimstroke would be just as good. We're also good at that. So I wonder if this is going to be like a mid Visage that I was thinking about originally, or hell, even a mid Clockwork, right? And we still don't know where the position 5 is that's yet to come out that might be a good response against the Beastmaster.
You really don't think it's just going to be Krish playing the Mars? Because that's where they've been able to find a lot of their success, and then put Bok on the Visage, give a Clockwork forward to be able to protect the Visage in the lane, and then go for your 5 last?
I guess that's doable. But yeah, I'm really just thinking like what 5 resolves all of the issues that they have, right? Because Clockwork, he's the support disruptor, in terms of the Grimstroke and the Snapfire. So you just need something to get out of that laning stage and snowball. So Enchantress wouldn't be terrible, CM wouldn't be terrible. What else would be decent here?
I think you need damage. I'm a bit concerned on how they can't really blow heroes up inside the arena.
CM. CM does a decent amount.
Is that reliable, though, for the...
No, not against this
Yeah.
lineup actually.
Radiant team ban.
Alright.
Not. It's not really a Wyvern pick.
Okay, so
Team
my...
ban.
like the Necro
Could they
band,
Lich?
it could be okay. Like a Beastmaster and a Snapfire are very much going to enable some form of physical damage. And I really want that to be the route that Lilgun goes down. If they can go for a hero that can kind of have some impact through the mid game and the early game, but can
10
really scale
seconds
well into the
remaining.
late game, then TNC they're going to fall off a cliff. So, and
5
you're going
seconds
to have the
remaining.
advantage with the inner beast,
Radiant
the
team
Hawk as
pick.
well, to be able to kind of delay the game and always know when TNC are making plays. So I think for TNC already, without seeing this last pick, they have a lineup that needs to end the game
Dire
early.
team pick.
That's cool.
They do go for the Anch. I mean, it's against the Beastmaster. It's going to be solid. They were thinking it was an offlaner potentially for Lilgun. Don't really think the Visage 5 would have worked all that well, or the Clock, to be honest. So just slipping it through, and I'm honestly a little bit surprised. I mean, we've seen Enchantresses go
10
super
seconds
greedy, right, and
remaining.
be able to pump out a good amount of damage. I'm keep going to referring to Q's performance
5
for Talon,
seconds
where he did the
remaining.
most damage for his team and ended up carrying them to victory from the support role. And they do ban out that Necro that I was talking about on TNC. So I think that's a very wise decision. Also would have been a really solid pick, and that's gone too. So what's really left?
Monkey King.
Monkey
You may
King, huh?
now
So is this a
select
one
your
monkey
heroes.
and a mid tiny? It's not the Jugger that I was talking about, but anytime you're up against Lilgun, you always need to be conscious that they're going to Monkey King. I was just like, it's not as strong as the Jugger, in my opinion, for being able to deal with what TNC have.
It's definitely something Lilgun like to play though, like 4-2-3 Monkey King.
Yeah.
It's something that they've thrived on in the past. They're going back to Sanctity's Tiny, 11. Like these are a lot of comfort heroes for Lilgun, without a doubt. So it's more TNC are pulling something, I suppose, out of left field. You know, the Pudge, they played it before, but looking to finally has some success on it. I'm just concerned if this game goes late, I don't see how TNC are going to be able to deal with Lilgun.
Yeah, I agree. And even early, right? How are you actually pushing towers outside of Visage, right? If Visage is dead, you got no tower push. How are you going to siege high ground, more specifically? I feel like Enchantress might be able to get the low ground, but high ground's going to be the issue. So, yeah, even though the Enchantress being laning up into the Beastmaster kind of sucks for Lilgun, I think they're still going to take it overall.
All right, well, we'll see if Lilgun are able to pull this victory out of the hat, or if TNC can find their way to take game one off the back of the Pudge. Of course, it's something we've seen kind of rising in popularity all throughout the 6 regions. They've tried to run it before. That was against Execration. They didn't have success on it, but time will tell if they can topple Lilgun with this position 1 Pudge. Regardless, it puts us in a exciting position to kick off our night.
I'll be signing autographs out front.
You got any favorite supporter pack stuff that's coming through? As everyone loves to spam it, particularly Lilgun. They've got their own style, of course. Couldn't imagine too many Mongolian voice lines coming out outside of theirs.
I haven't actually taken a look at. I know we went through kind of the first phase of the teams that got added, but I haven't taken a look at any new ones. So, have you got any new favorites that have come out recently?
Not necessarily voice lines. I suppose the one that Lilgun just used for 4-2-3, where he's like, "Ooh, this guy's my friend." I like that one. But it's really some of the sprays that we see coming out from a lot of the teams that are meme influenced that I'm a big fan of. I think it was No Sorry, No Sorry, from the Eastern European region. That's looking really good on their meme game. Also, Fusion, our friend Ponlo's team in the Chinese DPC, has an insane wallpaper based off of very popular anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Sorry, say that again? What? JoJo's
That's a
Bizarre
weird thing.
Adventure? Okay, very interesting.
Yes.
Sounds like a, Sounds like
You cannot disparage JoJo's. JoJo's is a religion to a lot of people.
Oh no, how dare I? I'm so sorry. I didn't say anything about it. You cut me off. I was
You're
going
about to. Yeah, I saved you. This is what a good co-caster does.
No. Maybe I was going to sing the praises. But maybe I'd watched it. You didn't know.
Name one character that isn't JoJo.
I was going to say JoJo. That's no good. Siwa?
Yeah, no. It doesn't work. All right. Well, these lanes, they're looking to set up pretty standard, and because of the Enchantress, we see the Wild Axes come out from 11 here. So it means that you're not going to have quite as much of that pushing potential. Of course, we always talk about that back and forth with how does a Beastmaster actually want to itemize. He's going into the Ring of Basilius, so maybe instead he goes like Wraith Pact first instead of the Helm of the Dominator.
I wouldn't hate it, honestly, considering I think the early game is something you need to itemize for. If you can just survive the early game, survive the mid game, then the Monkey King should be able to thrive as the game goes on. So, what are your thoughts on this Monkey King in general, though, in regard to the lane? Like, do you feel like 4-2-3 is going to be able to have a good lane versus the Bok Visage?
I mean, I feel like he's going to get his farm, and that's fine, but really what you want whenever you're going up against a Visage is to crush him in the lane if you can, and I don't think they're going to have the potential to do that. I think Carlo's doing a great job so far of just being able to be in the right place at the right time, pull the creep wave. He knows that there's no, like, instant stuns or lockdowns because of where they're having to farm right now, as far away from the Clockwork as possible, so he's going to be able to... Like, he'll get harassed here by Ace, but it's going to be fine for Carlo.
Like you said, though, Carlo's doing exactly what he needs to do to be able to secure Bok's early farm. Meanwhile, mid lane, there was a toss under the tower from Sanctity, so it did bring Krish to a pretty low threshold, but thanks to the water runes that are already out and a pretty quick bottle as well for the Mars, so Chris is going to be able to regen back up. And how do you feel like this matchup's going to shape up? For me, I just feel like it's a farm trade, but is there anything you can see?
I mean, Tiny is always in this really weird position, right? Until he's level 6, he's got minimal armor. He's obviously purchased up a few of those the iron branches to give himself a little bit extra. But, I mean, against a Mars who's so heavily physical-based, you've got good attack range, honestly rivaling the Tinies with the tree grab, and the God's Rebuke as well. You're just going to be taking a lot of harass as this Tiny. So, I don't know, I think it's a farm trade, but you do have some kill threat for sure on Krish, I think.
I think with how both position 2s are going to be able to get very active early on, with Mars especially with the level 6 and Sanctity regardless with this combination. So this is a lane where we need to see a lot of emphasis coming out from the supports just to try and secure the power runes in particular. Just because if you can give Sanctity a really good start, regardless, honestly, both Mars and Tiny, they are snowballing position 2s. You need to get off to a good start for Krish to find that early Deso, for Sanctity to find that early Blink, and you just need to take over the map. So really that is all set up off the back of the power runes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, it's almost definitely... For TNC, either support, like the Enchantress or the Clockwork, while they are super capable of rotating towards this mid lane and having an impact, as Mavis is doing, it kind of sacrifices Yoe's game heavily, right? Because what's he supposed to do against a Beastmaster and a Snapfire solo? Like, he only secures range creeps when he uses the hook to do so. He has no kill threat, and then they can just look to get really aggressive on him.
Carlo should be okay. Has some stick charges to play with.
Yoe's not okay. Oh, maybe he is. Diving right back underneath the tower, but he's sitting low, man.
Yeah, she might be okay now that 11's out of mana and he's lost the Axe's stack onto Yoe. What's he... Okay, so going Hood first item, so Yoe should be able to sustain through this a little bit, especially with the Tango coming back out. So definitely was at a stage where it could have been brought down, but look at this play. Centaur Conqueror into the hook. 11's got no mana to be able to trade. So they're going to be relying on Kishka to turn it around with the abilities. The combos out, but Yoe able to step back behind the Snapfire's aggression. And now Kishka might be in trouble as well. Hook's going to be up in a couple of seconds. Yoe looking to actually just get straight on top of the Snapfire and rely on the rot to secure the kill. And now 11's going to be pretty cautious as well. The Stomp is back up. Finds a connection into the hook once again. 11, he's got enough mana to be able to chuck out one axe, and that is all he requires to secure the kill.
It's a pretty big deal for the Beastmaster, to be honest, to be able to get that solo experience, right? He's almost brought himself up to level 5 as a result of that. He'll come back to the lane. He'll have more power to shove out those lanes. I think it's honestly a fairly decent trade. You don't want to give up the first blood, of course, but still a decent response coming through there from Lilgun.
We also see both supports not tipping to the mid lane to try and refill the bottle up. So Christian Sanctity going to be playing with not a whole lot of mana. Top lane, they're getting aggressive on Bok for the moment. 4-2-3. He's able to find his Jinku stacks thanks to Boundless Strike. Tries to dodge the Soul Assumption, but the damage is still coming through as Carlo can easily chase him down. An early Windlace, and now they can turn to Ace as well. Bok doesn't have enough mana to be able to rely on the Soul Assumption, but the right clicks is plentiful as Carlo secures the double kill.
Very nicely done by Carlo. Not even needing the power cogs to be able to secure that one. And you were talking about that mischief. I mean, the battery assault ended up proccing that one. So that's a big reason why. Oh, another hook actually coming out from Yoe here.
Ishka, one more right click. Maybe it's going to find it. 11's going to be a bit cautious. Do have enchant on cooldown. Man, maybe it's already level 5.
Yeah, he got a lot of that solo experience as well once Yoe was killed, so it's less about, you know, the slow duration and all that sort of thing. It's really just about the cooldown, to be honest. Just having that for 20 seconds, being able to consistently use it to harass out someone like the Beastmaster. I'm just seeing Snapfire having to walk towards the mid lane. I was thinking maybe if he revealed himself TPing, they had just placed down that Observer Ward, so Mavis would have given the call to immediately go for an aggressive attempt. Like he wants to be playing around this mid lane.
Can I get the toss back? Or went for the right click instead. Maybe the Snapfire wasn't in range regardless, so Sanctity is not going to get anything out of the early double damage rune.
Scouting out where 11's farming. Just trying to disrupt as much as possible, and this is the thing, like, How are you supposed to farm up for your Helm of the Dominator if you're just constantly getting your boars taken away and harassed out of the lane?
Oh, Yowie. Nice hook thanks to the Observer Ward. He's able to scout out 11, connecting back to the lane. He's going to try and TP out. But Yowie says, no, sir. Easy flesh heap stack for the Pudge.
He's gone from good to better for TNC to be able to start
Mid
this one
lane,
off.
Sanctity. Gonna try and blow up Krish, but they can turn it back around with the arena combo. They're gonna be reliant on Carlo's damage and the tower as well as they push him back into range. Beautifully played from Carlo, but just lacking a little bit of damage for the moment. Is finally able to step in, relying on the battery assault, but Sanctity gets some distance thanks to the avalanche. And now they might turn to Ace instead. Mavis should be able to catch up shortly, but the Phantom's Embrace proving to be an issue.
Sanctity's under the ward.
Yeah, Carlo. Look at this play. Beautifully done. Safety! No! Oh no, Mavis! He's able to still pivot on over. The use of the Wild Wing Ripper pulling him back, but Sanctity's still not able to survive. The long right click from the Wild Wing Ripper securing the kill.
Cheeky attempt coming through there from Carlo. Nearly pays off, but Sanctity with a quick fingers able to turn that one around.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It is a lot of experience going away under that mid tier 1 tower, though, as Krish TP's back.
Oh, bottom lane, 11.
Stop that lane
He's
up.
going to be chased down again. Yowie finds another solo kill. Oh, he's off to flying starts here for the position 1 Pudge.
That's all you really need. You need to get him up to that level 6, and then, of course, you've got that solo kill potential.
He's in trouble now. These boar slows are going to prove to be an issue. At least has the hood already. So Sanctity's burst is not going to be too much of an X factor here to bring him down, especially with Mavis showing up with a sustain. Now they're going to be cautious how long they stick around inside the tower's range. Yowie threatening with the hook. Look at Sanctity though, just in case, proving as a bodyguard. Top lane, 4-2-3. Trying to play in the tree line. Double familiar stun into the combination. It's going to refresh the familiars to chase down 4-2-3. He doesn't have a level in the Wukongs to be able to give him some bonus armor, and no one is TPing top as well to protect the position 1 Monkey King. So Lilgun feeding a couple kills across the map. Oh, okay. Well,
You
that's
get Yowie in the meantime, though. That's a worthwhile trade, of course. At this stage of the game, really not too much difference in terms of the actual net worth that it provides you, but it's that valuable experience and preventing that Pudge from continuing the snowball.
Alright, let's see where the power runes go. Down bottom. Only a region, but that might be able to help out with Sanctity's farm a little bit. Use the combinations a bit more aggressively. In fact, they are mass TPing bottom. 11. First use of the Roar of the game along with the Mortimer Kisses. So they just want to look to get a kill and then transition this into a tier 1 tower.
They just want to be able to push, man. Like, they have not been able to at all. All you need to do is put an Enchantress down here. Even at the 5-minute mark, they had Pudge down bottom. He made sure to hook the siege creep so that the previous push attempt was so much harder to have happen. And it just requires Lilgun to make this full-on commitment to be able to open up the map at all for themselves. In the meantime, they're just going to have their own tier 1 tower taken, so certainly not what you want if you're a Lilgun fan to have this sort of trade happening when you've got a Beastmaster in your team.
What's the call now for TNC? Because they have definitely a window to make a play, whereas Lilgun, they're still stuck with hitting the tier 1. So TNC maybe thinking about wrapping on mid. You've got the arena available. They're going to occupy Dai's top jungle as well. So I'd like to see them get aggressive here for the next 10-15 seconds, or at least with Lilgun still forced down bottom.
Yeah, I think you can absolutely go mid. I'm a little surprised they didn't, not just because they were occupied at bottom, but also Primal Roar still on
Hook
cooldown
in,
for the next
Carlo.
30.
They're going to try and target down Sanctity for the moment. And the rest of Lilgun, they're just too slow to react. Beautiful plays from TNC. From top to mid they go.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Also just using that arena to break some of those trees as well, so there's no way that a Monkey King's going to be joining in for this fight either. So solid
Dire's
positioning from
middle
Krish.
tower has fallen.
Playing a little bit slow here is Lilgun. I guess you're really relying on this blink coming out from Sanctity, but not having a fast-paced game. Hasn't gotten too lucky with any of the power runes, like no invis or no haste to be able to, put his mark onto the side lane. So his net worth is really taking a hit, and without the tiny blink, it's going to be a bit difficult for Lilgun to get active.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he obviously would want to have gotten a few more kills at this stage of the game, and a lot of that is enabled by having less map to play with, which is a result of the Beastmaster lane going well. Yeah, I think it's gone even worse than I was probably expecting with that Enchantress pick really opening things up for them.
I think you always will. Just you have to give credit where it's due. 2 solo kills, I think, into the Beastmaster, so it's going to be a pretty good timing here with the Scepter. And meanwhile, they're farming everywhere at the moment on TNC. You've got Your Way at the triangle. Carlo's just getting rid of the dead lane, so he's getting a little bit of experience in gold. And meanwhile, the rest of TNC are just occupying this top jungle. And I really like what they're doing, making sure that it's difficult for them to enter. Like Krish is even using the illusions to pull the mid wave a little bit closer to kind of their high ground where they can play with. So this is Blink now already on Mars. So this is a really scary timing here for Lilgun.
He might be able to scout out this Blink Dagger, though. Let's have a look. With the mid-observer ward, they get like a couple of seconds glimpse of it, so that might cause Lilgun to have a response. There's no pings on the map, but who knows what's going on with their voice comms. He also has it in his inventories. He's looking to shove out this wave really quickly.
Shows mid,
and join in with the rest of the team.
Not going to catch them by surprise. I think still the one big thing about Dire is their control in team fights is something that TNC have to be very, very cautious of. We're going to be looking at BKBs is kind of the real big timing for TNC. You know, Krish has already got his queued up. Wonder when Your Way, if he's going to consider it after the Scepter.
And they know that no one, like the Beastmaster really doesn't want to TP up top. You know, he wants to be playing on the bot side, putting constant pressure down to that side of the map. But because of the not so great start that he's had, they know that the tier 2 tower isn't under any significant threat. So just able to consistently play around this top side. Tier 2 tower's nearly done. All you really need to commit is Carlo.
They're tipping top now. Look at the blink on Sanctity. Box a pretty big kill. 30 net worth. See how long he wants to stick around though to take the tower. Can just use the familiars to do the work. So someone's going to have to jump past. And it's going to be too difficult. Yeah, Kishka shows, but the tower's going to go down regardless. And man, TNC, this is... Oh, you revealed the blink as well. So this is huge now for TNC. You take a tier 2 tower without committing too many heroes, and you also reveal the blink.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Didn't quite take it just yet. Bok resummoned his familiars before they were able to get it, but...
I thought it went down.
I know, right? You would assume so, but he really didn't want to give any of that gold because he knows how important the snowballing is for the Tiny. They'll still be able to get it here with the rotation up from Mavis, but I mean, this again is just a support revealing on the map.
Wait, Smoke's gonna pop. Kishka doesn't have a ward to drop down. Pudge is pretty goddamn difficult to kill, especially when he gets a hood off, but he doesn't use the flesh heap. So Lilgun able to blow him up, but the counter initiation they're in. Arena along with the hook shot, trying to target on Sanctity, but the damage is lacking for the moment. Lilgun, they've been able to survive the initial onslaught. Now they might be able to turn it around with the numbers advantage, but Sanctity on the western side of the hooks, gonna be able to push him down to the south. Beautifully played from Kishka. 11 still looking to step into the middle, but he's gonna be cautious because the damage, it's now lacking from Lilgun. They've used everything. So got the Wukongs as a pump threat. Sanctity is going to toss back Carlo. Should be a pretty easy kill as the Wukongs forced to be laid down, even the cookie as well. So with 2 in the end for Lilgun. Alright, some signs of life here for the lads.
Yeah, that's a pop a lot for that, though. You don't have the Mortimer's Kisses, you don't have the Wukongs, you don't have the Primal Roar, you don't have the Soulbinds. So, in my eyes, they could just group up and, yep, straight into Roche. They've got the Wraith Pact, you've got the ability to control this area with Outpost, no tier 2 top, no tier 1 mid. This is going to be a very easy Roche secure.
This is what you're looking for with a Pudge lineup. First Ages, just steamroll the map.
I must have them all.
They're even,
the snap.
Yeah. And they've got Krish to be able to follow up with the damage. Should be an easy kill for them to find. They're picking up the high ground thinking there's a ward up there, but well, they're not going to be correct as a kill into Roche as Your Way now has the first Ages to play with.
Some disassembly required.
What we were talking about that they needed the whole time, right? And Mavis, you're talking about the need of damage. Doesn't seem like he's on the same page. He's just like, all right, I just want to be survivable. I want to take away a lot of attention. I want to be as annoying as possible. And, well, he's going to do exactly that with the 10% magic resistance talent. He's already got a hood for himself. He's building into a pipe. It all seems to be about the early game for TNC.
Yeah, I'm concerned that if Lilgun use everything to blow up the first Aegis, then they might not have damage when all their ultimates are expended, especially with the Wraith Pact. I mean, Pudge is incredibly survivable, so I think a lot of it's going to come down to maybe you just have to... I think you just have to avoid the Pudge and kill some easier targets. If you get rid of Mars, that is huge for the fight.
It is for sure, but Krish has always been like the...
Yo, a nice hook. Goes fishing, catches up the Grimstroke, but Lilgun trying to find a rebuttal. Sanctity is going to toss the Pudge further inside the command. But the rest of TNC flocking to the mid lane. Kish gonna jump inside. Still the damage coming through for the Wukong is something that TNC are unable to deal with. Arena's gonna buy them a little bit of breathing room. Mavis stuck inside the walls for the moment, but the Mortimer Kiss is doing barely any damage.
The hell was that? How did that do no damage? I know he had the pipe on, and I think he was healing at the time, Wraith Pack down, but full Mortimer's Kisses being laid into his face did absolutely nothing. That's kind of nuts. Still, though, it wasn't... It was a pretty solid commitment, I suppose. Maybe didn't need to use those kisses, considering they were hoping to get another kill from that. But, you know, overall, they still were able to reclaim the Aegis without too much of a heavy loss in terms of their tempo and being able to respond to this. I mean, they're immediately just saying, 11, push out the wave, force them to defend. We need you to get that Helm of the Overlord so Enchantress doesn't just make your life horrendous.
Still gonna need a little bit of gold until he can find that big item for the Beastmaster. And in regards to the carry on Lilgun, 4-2-3 working on the BKB next as well. We have seen kind of the impact with the Wukongs in these fights. TNC definitely have a lineup that is pretty heavy committal. Pudge needs to be in the middle of the fight, so does the Clockwork, kind of so does the Mars as well. So, and they've got multiple ways to be able to keep yours locked inside the Wukongs. The leash into double raw, cookie control, maybe even Sanctity is able to get the combo. We just saw Prior like toss back inside the command, so TNC have to be very cautious on how they position these fights.
They're going to be really keen to start to approach the high ground. I think they want to have all tier 2 towers outer secured by the time that the next Roshan is up and available, and a big part of that is going to be Carlo finishing up this Spirit Vessel, especially if he's able to do it before 4-2-3 is able to get into the BKB. He's a whole lot closer to doing it, and he's almost reached that level 12 as well for the Clockwork, but it just would be so much more tempo if they're able to not be concerned about the Monkey King. He is the big high ground defense for Lilgun right now.
The supports on Lilgun as well are starting to get a decent amount of farm. Like, really the important thing is Ace just having this Ag Shard. I don't think there's much else he really needs this game, unless there's something you can see.
No, I think it's just, you have to play super defensively. If it's baiting out the clock hook, that's just your role this game, unfortunately, as long as you get off your ultimate and your Inkswell.
Long wraparound for Lilgun. See the position of the Enchantress, but they don't want to try and blow up Mavis just first. Looks like Carlo's going to be the target. Sanctity jumps in simultaneously in the river, though. The Raw's out, but the Mortimer Kisses. They're targeting down Bok on the Visage. The Wraith Pack's not enough to keep him alive. Meanwhile, to the north, though, Yowei is caught out Sanctity. With the follow-up damage coming through Krish's arena, they're able to bring down the Rockman. They're still hunting, though, on TNC. Mavis looking to pivot on over towards 4-2-3's location. They have the threat of the Wukongs if they need to use it defensively, but Lilgun will retreat back to the safety of the tier 2 tower.
Still, though, 2 kills at this stage. Really important for Lilgun to just keep that momentum going. I mean, you've got the item that you really need on the Tiny. And look at that. He's actually going for a Aghanim Scepter on the Tiny. Something that's certainly a lot more unorthodox, but I guess just feeling we need a way to be able to harass and bully this.
Oh, 4-2-3! Boundless onto 3. He's able to get the ultimate off before the hook shot, but where are the stuns to lock them inside the Wukong's command? So they're going to turn to Carlo instead to the south, but they don't have anything. TNC, an easy retreat. That is Wukong's now on cooldown.
It's good mechanical skills, but just in terms of the macro, the game sense, right? You needed that Tiny there to be able to keep them locked in or have the Soulbind available, but at the time it still had 50 seconds on its cooldown.
See how you want to play with this now on TNC. Mavis really needs to get rid of this ward on the higher ground. No, will be able to do so. It's a lot of control that Lilgun need to play with. They're the ones that are looking to group up around a choke point. Without the ward now, it's definitely going to make it a little bit more difficult for them to kind of build up a fortress by their triangle.
There's two of those objectives left that I was talking about. Those outer towers. Tier 2's remaining. They do have the glyph. They do have an enchantress, of course.
Hookshot. Oh, this is deep. This is really deep. They need to be perfect with all their damage to be able to get rid of Sanctity. And it looks like that's going to be the case. And Krish, it can chain this into the Snapfire kill as well. No hesitation with dropping the arena.
Dire's middle tower is under
We're able to secure that tier 2 for not too much in response. I mean, 423 is doing his best to at least secure that tier 1 top, but make that next Roche fight a tiny bit easier, open up a little bit more of the map. Of course, TNC. Ooh, flyback.
Yeah.
Don't know if that is needed.
Yeah. I don't know either.
You gotta just buy the shard. Okay, he has bought it on Kishka. I think Blink Dagger on its own at this stage of the game really doesn't do much for him. He's been landing some great Fire Snap cookies, but the follow-up stun just hasn't been there. So now they have that.
This is a gigantic timing for TNC. You got BKB on Krish. Yowei has this Eternal Shroud and Sun, so he's getting to a stage where you have to just drop everything to blow him up. Box getting his items as well, so you have to be really, really cautious here of Lilgun. Like, if you lose one more fight and it's a quick Roche spawn, then all of a sudden it could be 2 fights and this game's just over. Mid lane, Sanctity. Smoke behind once again. Carlo's gonna look to jump. Oh, Carlo. Pinpoint accuracy with the hook shot. Sanctity though, cooking to the middle of the fight, but the Dismember tears apart the life of the Tiny. And now Lilgun, they gotta get out. You cannot stick around for this team fight. Kishka, successful in his TP. Monkey, this is a scary spot to be, but they're not gonna scout out this double tree. Or will they? Okay.
Good time.
Radiant's bottom tower
Doing his best
is
to
under
get a bit of the
attack.
rat dota happening on the bot side is 11. You and I, we were casting a... actually, might need to put that on hold. Tier 3s are being sieged without the Roshan.
Always taking a lot of damage, man. Great use of the arena. It's just gonna block Lilgun.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, man, if Krish was not there. Whew, scary, scary stuff. I'm surprised how much damage they actually just did to Yowei.
On high ground, I mean, you're still a pudge. You don't have the greatest armor, so...
It's true.
It's a good amount.
Alright, you were gonna bring up a point, I think, about Eastern Europe.
It might not be as relevant anymore. Okay, kind of is. So we were seeing a Storm Spirit that had literally 0 item progression from like the 10.5-minute mark to the 20-minute mark. And I was like, well, if you've got all this gold, you got to spend it. And Sanctity, he's died, I think, 3 times in a row now with having the exact same items. Now, at least he's bought up the point booster, so he's holding on to a lot less unreliable gold. He's not losing as much every single death. But, you know, he probably would have had this Aghanim Scepter now. Well, he does have it now, but he's had to sell something to be able to get it for a previous fight. If
423! Oh, Chris! He's able to catch out 423 on the tree line, and Carlo's nearby as well, locking the Monkey King down. Is going to be put in a position where he has to brawl to keep his life, and oh, that will not be enough, as that's a big kill for TNC to find. I don't know, man. What do you see out of this Tiny Eggs? Because I feel like it's not going to do anything.
Something to kill Inch.
Okay.
Something to kill Inch. I think that's literally... Maybe the Pudge as well, right? Like, you're so resistant against a lot of magic on the Pudge with the Eternal Shroud. I mean, the Flesh Heap is still going to block a hell of a lot, but, you know, the Enchantress is almost all magic-based and untouchable. The Tiny Eggs doesn't care about that. Also gives True Strike, but that doesn't really matter right now.
Yeah, I'm concerned on there's not going to be damage for him until he gets a crit stick. I'm also very worried that TNC now have a gem to play with. So, yes, you do have the Hawks, but I think this gem is really, really important for TNC because, again, it feels like Lilgun, they need to take a fight around a higher ground where you can use all these close proximity spellers, and well, TNC, if they have the vision advantage, then it's just going to make it that much more difficult.
And Mavis is just being incredibly annoying again. I mean, the thing on Lilgun is that they really need this BKB for 4-2-3, but he's been jumping around for the past 20 or so seconds, trying to find a safe place to farm, and wherever he goes, it's a place where Enchantress is just putting her body. And with that time, they're not going to have the BKB to contest the second Roshan. TNC secured again, so just excellent gameplay coming out of Mavis right now.
Let's see who they give the shard to. Yo.
Nobody. No.
Krish. So they get ages on Krish and the shard as well. Okay. I like the read, honestly, for Lilgun just to give them that Roshan. I definitely think they have a lineup that's able to defend high ground. You probably need to force someone to wrap all the way around and somehow get TNC to clump up. But again, you were saying they didn't have their items, so it's a very difficult read from a team just to give away Roche. It's a big objective on the map, and sometimes you can kind of be suckered into taking a fight, and all of a sudden you lose Roche, and then you haven't been able to farm for like a minute or two, and you don't have the items then to defend your high ground.
They're gonna find Ace here. It'll just be a free kill.
Sanctity wants to jump in. Kisses with the Wukong Durant around the choke point. This is not the fight you're looking to take for TNC. Oh no, I've been spelling it out. Choke point fights, that's exactly what Lilgun need to turn this game around. And 4-2-3, he's got the BKB to be able to protect him for the moment. Buck under the cover of the Gravekeeper's cloak, but as soon as that expires, the invulnerability is gone. So too the familiars as Lilgun. Oh, they spelled disaster for TNC in that skirmish by the triangle.
And that was the scenario that I saw as well, but I didn't think they were going to be able to do it until the Snapfire had the Blink Dagger. But yeah, just funneling into one small point. You always need to be so scared against a Tiny with all of that burst damage potential. Everything went right for Lilgun that fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under
And
attack.
finally, 29 minutes in, they'll be able to get the tier 1 tower mid.
They
Or will
are...
they?
They see 4-2-3.
Radiant's middle tower.
Oh, Kishka! Double Sun Sanctity's got the fob. They're crumbling. Age is gone. TNC, they are respawning shortly, so Lilgun, they gotta be cautious now. You gotta get the kills and you need to get out fast, but Sanctity, he's stuck inside the cogs. They will not give the Tiny an opportunity to retreat, and our TNC, they're back up and they want to fight. They want revenge as your way. Charging to the middle, straight towards the Monkey King's location as they rip apart 4-2-3's life. Kirish, oh, he already used the spear. Yolway doesn't have the spells as well to cancel that TP, but they do find 2 kills as soon as they respawn.
You just see the amount of damage that you're able to actually put out, though, with that tree volley. I think that's also another important thing with TNC. They want to be pushing mid. They want to be avoiding these side lanes and any kind of area related to that as much as possible, because look at the trees that he's got to play around. It's, like, very minimal. He's basically standing in the one spot where you're able to make use out of that tree volley. Now he's got no damage on the Tiny. So, what do you do?
Buck also has only one familiar to play with. Someone's on cooldown.
5v3, man. I feel like they could absolutely go into this. Well, at least they forced the glyph out.
Okay. Live to see another day. How... It's a 9,000 net worth lead, which is definitely decent at 31 minutes in. But again, we were both saying that Lilgun, their lineup is going to be a lot more comfortable as the game goes on. So how worried are we right now for TNC?
I'd be worried if you get into the Silver Edge for Sanctity, because then that means that if he finds the pick-off onto Bok, you actually have a solid way to kill him, because you're not going to care about the Gravekeeper's Cloak. You're going to find a way to just instantly burst through him, and that is such a big portion of the damage right now on TNC's side.
Smoke outside the base, Lilgun.
Still Bok that's kind of on the front lines here.
Double damage.
Not an easy kill, especially with Mavis standing nearby. I like this wraparound. If they can get control of the triangle, drop a ward down, This is perfect location for Lilgun. Smoke's gonna pop. They're all grouped up. Where's the jump? It's gonna be Krish first. Jumps inside the river. Towards the backline, though. They're onto Yowei on the pudge. They just get rid of him easy like that. And now they can blow up the Enchantress next. And Yowei, he brought back. So TNC, they want the last day of the team fight, but they can't take this engagement inside the Wukong's command. To the left, though, Krish rips apart one of the supports, but they still gotta be cautious, man. The damage, Yowei, he stepped in. Dismember, just melting through the life of the Monkey King. Yowei doing ridiculous amounts of DPS, and now Krish! Oh, double damage rune for the last remnants of that fight. Slams down the shield to get rid of Kishka.
I did 800 damage to poor little Kishka, and wow, it was honestly Krish just having a huge part of that fight, right? Even just in the middle of all the chaos, he knew exactly where the Tiny was going to be to try and re-engage into that. So he tossed the Spear of Mars off to the side. A lot of people would be saying spear lol in the chat, but it ended up breaking the Blink Dagger on the Tiny and preventing that re-engagement. So really solid use of his...
It's just Mavis. You probably don't need the 4-2-3 buyback as well. Yeah, I like this call from TNC. Jesus Christ.
So you have no edge for 70 seconds. This is a solid time for them to maybe say, all right, we can really look to go. We didn't expend too many buybacks on significant heroes on Lilgun's side. Especially with that Blink Dagger on the Pudge. It's going to be a little bit more careful that you're going to need to be playing around for sure, but I still think that they've got such a big window of opportunity.
Oh, we get a little bit of a break in the action for the moment. Maybe, though, as they are both farming under the Observer Ward. And Lilgun do have everyone alive. 1,000 deficit. See what Lilgun can do.
This is the first time that we've really seen Lilgun step out into lanes in the past, like, 15 minutes, you know? And it's all on the back of that Enchantress being dead. That's how much work Mavis is doing, just with his presence on the map.
They see Yowei. They see Yowei. Sanctity. Jump in, but he doesn't get the toss. Great reaction from Yowei with the BKB, but the Roar preventing the spear as well. So they're locked inside the arena for the moment. Sanctity's still falling lower and lower. They're going to push him over the wall, but it will not matter. As now 4-2-3 needs to turn to deal with Yowei. That's a dieback on the Pudge. 4-2-3 playing around with the double damage rune. I don't know if you can take the fight on TNC. They're going to look to avoid the Monkey King instead as Christian Mavis turns towards 11. 4-2-3 though steps in. Another triple cookie, but where's the follow-up? 4-2-3 doesn't have a BKB to protect him for the moment as Kishka trying to do it all by himself, but he does not have what is required to turn the fight.
Oh, Sanctity, he was reproaching being able to get back into that fight, but this is the difficulty. You have no outer towers. It was the longest run back for the Tiny to be able to get back into that fight, and well, he previously had that Silver Edge queued up for himself. He's going back into the BKB, realizing how important it is just to be able to not care about someone like the Mars Arena, not be able to care about the Visage at all, and even just the damage coming up from the Pudge at this stage with that Aghanim Scepter.
This has to be a full set. I'm pretty sure he'd give it up here on Lilgun.
Come get healed.
That would have been huge if Carlo hit that.
Can't I click on Bok? Okay, it's got the resummon. This building's gonna fall pretty goddamn fast here with the AC and the 15 talent.
Dire's top tower is under
So obnoxious from Ace, just throwing out the fake grenade onto the Centaur Conqueror that they had at the time. But yeah, 2 full sets of racks.
You need a toss back into a Roar. Lilgun gonna be able to get a kill, and TNC will make sure there is no opportunity. An early retreat, not sticking around. Give them a window back into this game. And oh man, it's even 4-2-3. That makes the call. He wants the Silver's Edge. He feels like Sanctity's taking a little bit too long to pick it up. And well, in fact, he's going to be going for a BKB instead.
Oh, they just stepped out of the Roche pit, but Chris checks it again. Third Roche is up and available for TNC. Refresher Shard. Can't think of something else that Chris would like more. He's just been making so much happen throughout this game. How often do you see mid laners at, 36 minutes into the game be top? Yeah.
He's goddamn flawless on Christian. It's not like he's gone for a damage route on Mars. No Deso, like no Satanic, no Scepter, nothing like that. Lilgun.
Power of Indian Dota.
Chris jumps in again. Look at the damage. Ace is going to buy back. Oh, Carlo. That's a nice target. 4-2-3 is going to be locked inside the cogs. You don't want to force out an early BKB, but he might be required to do so now as Yolwei on point with the hook once again, but they're able to cancel the dismember, and now with the Wukong command out on the high ground. Yolwei's gone. TNC. Can they reset though? Was a lot forced from Lilgun in regards to the ultimates. If they can group up, they might be able to take this round too.
I mean, they really want that Roshan on Lilgun's side, right? They don't have to contend against the Pudge. They've been able to take back that outpost control. And it's a little bit odd that TNC didn't go for Rosh. I mean, we saw how quickly those towers melted. It was honestly pretty similar when you consider Roshan, right? You've got AC, you've got all the damage coming out, and you've got an Enchantress that could just put herself on the front lines. But instead, they just played it a little bit too aggressively in my eyes. So with that, 50 seconds left. Rosh opened up for them. They know, though, they've got these river wards where they're able to scout out all movements coming through from Lilgun. Playing a bit scared, though. I mean, this is your opening.
I guess you're what, because their ultimate's on cooldown. That's what they're worried about for Lilgun. Their lanes aren't in a great spot either.
They just got Primal Roar and the Soulbind back available, but still not feeling confident.
Oh, it's a DD. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Who sees it? They both see it. Oh, this is huge. That Krish gets it now. He's got the God Tribute crit at 25. He might one-hit someone. He might one-hit the Grimstroke.
He will one-hit the Grimstroke. I'm calling it. Oh, here we go. Smoke going up in preparation for the Pudge to be back alive.
They have a ward to place with this? They do not. Anticipating 4-2-3 to be farming the triangle, but he is not home. So buyback status real quick. Only Krish along with Bok with buybacks in this game.
He didn't actually TP back out onto the map, so not wanting to reveal his position too quickly. I wonder what he's even going to go for next. Like, is it a Boots of Travel, just constantly wanting to be out there? Is it a Kyron Sange, perhaps? Albert wouldn't be horrible against this Monkey King.
Oh, they have their own Hulk. Love to see it.
No, take that.
I like the play though from TNC. Put the familiars down bottom, force them back. Again, mid lane's getting shoved in. Lilgun are always going to have an obligation to deal with their lanes, especially with the super creeps mid and top.
And how do you do it? That's the issue, right? If he wanted to, he could go ahead and buy the full Silver Edge now on the Tiny, but...
Woo.
I didn't think it was possible.
Alright, T2 tower now. So, Mega Creeps is a potential with no outer towers to protect them. Sanctity's going to show, so let's see what they do now with the Tiny showing bottom. Instantly, Krish is going to step inside the pit. They've got the Hawk to scout out, but they've got to be pretty quick. They're moving. They're moving over on Lilgun. War's going to try and enter Enchantress. Hang on a second. Forced up to reposition, but a Sanctity pounces on the opportunity.
Still
but
alive.
Mavis, they haven't killed off the Enchantress, and now meanwhile, Yolwei gets the hook, drags Sanctity into his death. There's 4-2-3 trying to play on the outskirts of the Wukong's command, but he's lost the ring and he's lost the protection. Trying to make it to the high ground is 4-2-3. Protected with a Silver's Edge for the moment. Kishka's going to buy some time as well. All the stuns being implemented to hold them back. This TNC continuing to chase.
How's your hook, Yolwei?
Ooh, Yolwei almost gets him. 4-2-3, hang on. Christian's got blink. 4-2-3. What are you doing farming this lane, my guy?
Oh, he thought it was safe. He thought he was fine, but that's 2 cores down and a Roshan and a Refresher Shard on the deck.
Invisibility.
Shard and Chi still on the deck?
Yeah, Carlo, he deserves it. Was it him that pushed the monkey out of the arena?
Yes.
I saw a great cogs. Yeah.
There was a lot. I don't know. I think there was a cogs, a force. It's just a bunch of crap. Oh, he doesn't have the 25. I love this. Okay. They gave the tome to Monkey. So if he buys back, he might have 30. Sorry, 25, which is going to be really important for this defense.
Yep, instantly has it.
Okay. This is huge. That extra ring is really important. Lilgun, they win off the back of this Wukong's man. That's it. Oh, Yolwei! Stop finding these hooks, man! Kishka's important. Meanwhile, Krish is in. Arena's out. He's got the second use of the arena as well. Pops the orb instead towards the backline though. Mavis kills off Kishka. Carlo's
43
in.
has no BKB now.
Carlo's in. He's just making space. Puts a body on the line. Protecting them so they can deal with the objectives.
Krish still has that refresher.
They gotta go, and Krish is gonna do so. They called the Monkey King. 4-2-3 going. That should be game, as Krish's Mars deserves a ban with how goddamn good he looks on this hero. TNC take game 1, 42 minutes in. What a performance from them.
Krish, Carlo, Mavis take a bow. Like, honestly, even Yoe. This isn't any shade to Bok either, going 8-3 and 15, but honestly, it was just some standout performances from the rest of the team, all really just performing to their peak. You know, Bok making annoying, less noticeable plays, but just the amount of map that was choked off by the supports, the initiation for a Clockwork with there's such little margin for error. Krish flawless, and Yoe getting out of that laning stage in a much better shape than I was really expecting. So TNC, surprising for sure.
Man, what a goddamn game to start off our night. We got 3 best of 3s here for CDPC and TNC Lilgun game 1. That is, you couldn't want anything better here to start us. And I gotta still give, I know TNC were able to find the victory, but I think for Lilgun, there's a lot of signs of life, especially in this game. I think they were able to identify how the team fights needed to go for them to have any hope of being able to come back. And we saw multiple times it was off the back of taking fights in close proximity areas around choke points, mainly by the triangle, when the Wukong could really have that full effectiveness. So I think for Lilgun, you still got to give yourselves, like, especially when you lose, you need to make sure as a team, it's a long run here. Best of 3, especially against TNC. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be grindy, but you need to look at the positives and don't get weighed down too much. And I think for Lilgun, there were definitely signs of life, but TNC as well, you got to be so happy with that, considering you're going up against one of the real top competitors here to make it into Division 1.
Yeah, Indian Dota, best Dota. And with that, I think we'll take a little bit of a break before game number 2. I'm hyped to see how the rest of this series turns out.
I hope we get a game 3. That's all I'm looking for. I don't care who wins the series, just give me a game 3. TNC Lilgun. Well, it's gonna be TNC that finds our first map victory. Let's see if they can ride this momentum into game 2.